I'm not a partisan guy that constantly is a cultist or upholds values to an individual. I like policy. And when there's big, beautiful bills that a conservative can't stand, I'll call that out and criticize it. So I don't know if he's making America great again, but he's definitely better than the previous candidate, previous president, a whole lot better than what the Democrat Party can offer to us, whatever policy it is. No.
What's your rebuttal to that?
Yeah, I would say it's probably worse in every single measurable way. I think that the attack on the rule of law, I think, is really bad. I think all the lawfare that he's engaged in is really bad. Foreign policy-wise, I don't know if America's ever looked worse on the world stage, whether it comes to military stuff or economic stuff like trade deals. I think even for the things that conservatives might care about, I think that he is hurting those causes. I would say that the way he's approached like the theatrics related to ICE is really bad. The weaponization of like the invocation of the Alien Enemies Act, I think was bizarre. The El Salvador stuff. I just think that even if you did care ostensibly about some conservative platform, Trump has just done bad things for every part of what you could possibly care about.
Like immigration?
I would say probably, yeah.
Yeah. How so?
I think that when you roll by executive order, it can be rescinded by executive order. If all of his benefits at the border are just because of EOs that he's issued and he hasn't been able to champion or pass any kind of comprehensive immigration reform, I don't think it speaks well.
Be able to deter the crisis that was happening at the southern border under the previous administration?
I mean, it depends on if you believe it was a crisis or not.
Well, the average American for consistently over a year said that the immigration, specifically what is happening at the southern border, is one of the most important issues for them. Why is that? If it's not a crisis?
Because I think Republicans told them.
And they also told Democrats as well, who are polled for saying more than 70% of the average Americans say that they don't want illegal immigrants crossing our border, especially taking advantage of various programs that we have here, whether they are Republicans or Democrats. So I'll ask you again, how is he able to deter illegal migrants from crossing the border at such a high level without passing any policy, any executive order, or whatever it is?
Well, I think there's a lot less people coming to America now, period. Tourism is down like 80% across almost every
We're not
country.
talking about tourism.
No, but I'm just saying in general, like people are...
southern border.
Yeah, I'm just saying people, well, I mean, if less people are even trying to come here, then I imagine illegal crossings are probably down as well. I'm just saying that it's hard to believe that Americans genuinely care about a problem when, one, Trump killed the bill outside of office when Biden was in for his last year, and then nothing has been proposed in the meantime. And then two...
Again, but you don't need to reform the system in order to deter illegal migrants from wanting to come to the southern border, first of all, and then to illegally enter our country, right?
Sure. Was the goal just to bring illegal immigration to zero?
I don't know what is the goal of Democrats. All I look at it is from a...
Well, no, but I'm saying for Trump, I thought the goal was to like do something different with the immigration system to deal with like the 20 million illegal immigrants that are supposedly here already.
Sure. That is after the previous administration completely disregarded the rule of law and allowed so many people to come into their country and abuse asylum law. So instead of reforming the system, which I'm all for, when there is a crisis, do you reform the system or do you deter the crisis from happening?
So I don't think that there was a crisis.
What is 50,000 illegal immigrants crossing the border illegally, not through a port of entry, every single day, amounting to 3 million people illegally entering the country over a year? What do you call that? What do you tell the New Yorkers, the Chicago people, the Detroit people who aren't your traditional Republicans, going to council city meetings, stiffen it into their mayors, doing what?
If this was so much of a crisis, then why did Republicans kill the bill to cap the amount of illegals coming over?
We just saw that you didn't need a bill in order to deter illegal migrants from coming to the
EO, but we also see that when you do things via executive order, the judiciary will challenge you on a lot of stuff that you do. So why not do it with legislation?
What did this administration do differently in the first 30 days when it came down to illegal crossings that the previous administration didn't do?
Well, they're issuing harsh executive orders. And then two, I think America in general is a less attractive place to flee to at the moment.
It's a less.
But again, I think
when you have metropolitan cities giving you free everything,
nobody in America gets free everything.
Nobody in America gets free anything.
Free everything. Nobody's getting free everything.
Okay, I didn't say everything, but whatever.
Okay.
When an individual on the previous administration crossed the border illegally, not through a port of entry, what did they do with the individual?
It depends on if they meet a border guard and they try to claim asylum. It depends on if they're sneaking in through.
Okay.
But before this, before this, I was saying before, if this was a crisis, it's very strange that there was a huge piece of legislation originally authored by a Republican that both halves of Congress are ready to support, and then it got shot down. And
what was that bill going to do to deter illegal migrants from coming to the southern border in the same?
All right, guys, Sean Kelly here, host of the Digital Social Hour podcast. Just filmed 33 amazing episodes at Student Action Summit. Shout out to Code Health, sponsor of these episodes, but also I took them before filming each day. Felt amazing. Just filmed 20 episodes straight and I'm not even tired, honestly. So Code Health, amazing products. I also take these at home, especially when I traveled. I used to get sick every time I flew and I started taking that. First time, I haven't had a runny nose, knock on wood. One standout element, it's so easy. You got the travel pack here, but you could just take this, fit it in your pocket if you need to. Also all natural, like only saline solution in there. So you don't got to worry about any crazy side effects or anything. Yeah, Code's unique. With supplements, there's a lot of who knows what's in those ingredients. Code Health, I haven't seen much like this, where it's just based off, the codes that are in the saline solution. So I would say they're very unique. It's going to be the future of health and medicine. Code Health has been awesome.
Feel the drop and go code yourself.
Way that they're not doing so now.
Well, it codified into law the same type of caps that President Trump is trying to put on.
We don't need caps right now, right, to deter migrants.
Well, one of the issues with the asylum seeking process was people could come forward in like these huge amounts of like record-breaking numbers and claim asylum. And if you had too many people that were doing this, you had too many people trying to claim asylum. One of the things the bill would have done was let you cap it and put a moratorium on it for 2 weeks.
We both agreed that there's an issue with the asylum process and people taking advantage of it. Mm-hmm. But when you have 15,000 people coming in on a daily basis,
that bill would have prevented that.
That would have not done a single. Okay, let me ask you this. We didn't pass a bill. We didn't reform the system whatsoever.
Yep.
And we deterred it by 99.8%.
And all the people that claim asylum seeking are still in this country. They're not gone. They're still here.
I don't care about them.
I do care. You don't. So it wasn't a crisis then. So it wasn't a crisis then. At least we agree on that. Yeah.
What is the primary issue at the southern border previously under the previous administration? Is it the problem when they're already in the United States, or is it before they actually come into the United States?
The asylum seeking process.
What is the primary issue?
The asylum seeking process was the primary issue.
So you don't think that people entering the country, you don't think that people wanting it and being incentivized to come up to the southern border from all over the world, not just South America, but from all over the world, is not a problem? That's not the primary issue? Why do you care about
the reason why they
were already in the United States?
The reason why they were incentivized was because people realized, especially after COVID, that the asylum process was super abusable.
What did former President Biden do right after COVID in terms of immigration-related law? He pulled out of the...
Are you going to say remain in Mexico?
Yeah.
So how many people did you say? Wait. How many people did you say a year were coming over illegally, or a day? You said 15,000.
15,000.
I think remain in Mexico was responsible for like 60,000 people.
Remain in Mexico do?
Remain in Mexico. First of all, we're not just going to play a quiz game, but I'll explain it since you like to ask so many questions.
No,
so remain in Mexico made it so that if you came to the United States,
coming to the southern border,
60,000 remained in Mexico for their process.
That because
I just did.
Okay.
I didn't know you can say people will apply for process down there. But what I'm saying is that if you wanted, you could have done an actual immigration bill that would have addressed so many different layers of this problem, including the massive backlog we have of asylum seekers. And that was the issue.
You're super passionate about asylum seekers.
Because that was the issue. That was the problem.
You're super passionate about asylum seekers. I'll ask you this. Where do the super majority, not 50, 60%, more than 90% of asylum seekers, true asylum seekers, not bullshit asylum seekers, where did they seek asylum? If we're talking about Venezuelans.
Are we going to say like the country of first entry where they arrived at first?
They go to their neighboring country. More than 92%, according to statistics, actually go to their neighboring country. So let me ask you this. If you're facing legitimate asylum, first of all, are you going to track all the way up to the southern border, pay thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars sometimes because you're bringing your family to pay the cartels to then have a legitimate asylum case and then enter illegally, not through the port of entry? If you have a legitimate asylum case, you can adjudicate that in the United States with temporary protective status in the United States. You don't have to sit in Mexico and wait for your asylum case.
Why would they go for asylum over a TPS?
Why would they go for asylum over TPS? Because asylum is much easier to seek in the United States and then be granted TPS, right?
TPS is limited.
Let me ask you this. When the individual entered the United States and is seeking asylum, what do they grant him?
What do they grant them?
Yeah, while they adjudicate their case.
Are you going to talk about how they issue them a receipt to show up at their case, and you're talking about relief?
Give them temporary protective status. Yeah, right.
Because they're waiting for their case to be adjudicated.
Of course, yeah.
So it would have been nice if we had more judges to adjudicate these cases, like the border bill would have given us.
It would be nice, like we have right now, a 99.8% reduction in amount of individuals not only crossing the border illegally, but coming to the border.
So the number is not true. Just to be clear, the number is not real. But
yeah, those are real, but it's fine. It's the usual step.
What is Trump doing to get rid of the? What is Trump doing to get rid of the 5 or 10 million asylum seekers that are already in the United States?
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode.